We're going on a 7-hour road trip through Belgium and then through France to get to the freezing cold Alps.
We've got a really big fish on. I can't wait to get there and catch up with Elayna and Lenny.
I'm Elayna and this is Riley, and this is our home, La Vagabonde. We've been sailing around the world for the last 6 years now, and recently it's like we're seeing everything for the first time through a new set of eyes. This is our little boy Lenny. Click the subscribe button to join our voyage every Monday.
What are you doing? Taking the boom preventer off, getting ready for the jibe.
What do you reckon? Better course?
Oh, this is a way better course. Yeah, we're headed too far south. We had to go south to get into more wind, which we've now got. It's about 15 knots. Then we can head back on course. You will have heard me talking about the safety benefits of a vessel that sails fast. This also actually translates into comfort as well. Let me start all this by saying that wind actually brings waves, because not everyone will know that. 30 knots of wind will bring larger and more uncomfortable waves than 20 knots, and the same goes again for only 10 knots. North of our position is the Azores High, with not really enough wind to be sailing at all, and below our position are the full trade winds with 20 to 30 knots of wind and the accompanying sea state. The entire plan for this trip, and probably even just for the rest of my life, is to continue to put the vessel in the smoothest sea state possible whilst being able to maintain adequate speed. This becomes more important when we've got two little bambinos on board, but actually our highest average speeds are in maybe 15 knots of true wind with the big spinnaker up. Get the other line in, Andre. Maybe we should drop the sail. We've got a really big fish on. So we've still got the main up and we're just motoring over it. Jesus Christ! Unreal, look at the colour. Massive. Holy shit. Massive. Whoa. For those of you watching the show for a long time, you would have heard me talking about apparent wind angles. I'm playing with them now. We just decided to drop the main and have just the Jenica out so that we can get a better downwind angle. And that just me, and then we're toying with our velocity made good, which is how fast we're going exactly to our destination. And I'm just trying to put it all together, and it's much easier to do with Jack and Andre here, because I'm like, let's drop the main and let's try this, and it just happens. It's great. This is perfect. We're not going to change from this. We're going just as fast, more directly on course. Oh. How happy are you out of 10 Andre?
Super. I couldn't get a fish for over, I don't know, long time.
Happy, mate?
Andre, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
It's hard when the boat rocks to get enough.
Yeah.
Because soy is something you don't want to overpour.
Yeah.
We are just packing up the house this morning and we're going on a 7-hour road trip through Belgium and then through France to get to the freezing cold Alps. So excited for Lenny to see snow for the first time. He's gonna He's not going to know what the heck is going on. Sophia has to put oil in the car. Can she do it?
Sat above the falls along with you, letting you straight through.
In a day, we'd driven through Belgium, Luxembourg, which I'm embarrassed to say is a country I'd never even heard of up until now, France, Switzerland, and back into France. We crossed a lot of borders, and seeing the geography change so much in such a short distance reminded me of one of the reasons why I love Europe so much. Thick and vibrant culture, just so much culture, in every piazza and down every cobblestone alley. For a girl from Geraldton, I felt like I was drowning in the most sweet, syrupy culture. What on earth is going on here? That doesn't make any sense to me. Oh, is this it? We made it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're here.
Whoa, man.
Hit your form, don't hurt your back.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's amazing. The mainsail halyard is a little bit chafed, but I think it's going to be when the boom's out here, it's just going to be chafing a little bit on the topping lift. I can see that, it's not too bad. I'm glad that I shortened it before we left. They're bloody good binoculars.
Welcome to Châtel, a tiny village with panoramic mountain views where we'd be staying for the next week. Obviously a pretty big contrast to the surroundings we'd gotten used to on the boat recently. I was so grateful that Tom and Sophia adopted Lenny and I for the weeks that Riley would be at sea. And together, we were pretty grateful that their friends were lending us this house in the Alps. The plan was for Tom, who a lot of you already know is a professional paraglider, to train in the mountains most days, and us girls would get a bit of hiking and exploring in.
Oh my god!
It's so random.
Yeah, what? He looks like a little gremlin. He looks like a gremlin. Up you get.
So you could either say we've been very efficient or inefficient this morning. We went to do some exercise and to look for some chains for our car, but we couldn't walk that far. We have walked like 10 kilometers this morning, like actually.
We got everything that was not on the list.
Yeah.
But that are efficient that we need,
Yeah.
like important stuff, a sledge for
Yes,
the
we
kids.
definitely need that.
Some socks.
What else?
We
get?
used it,
Socks.
so we know it works.
Yeah, we got lost and we rode a little bit. We've left Lenny and Jack with Anastasia, who's a young girl who's Sophia's neighbour. She's come along for the trip to help out with the kids, which is amazing for us. That was good, very needed.
Oh yes.
We're killing it.
That my heart could break strong. Seeing you all alone, do you know?
Run, 1, 2, 3. More.
Good morning. It's probably day 5 or 6 out here at the moment. I can barely even remember what was going on land by now. But I'd written down a few things which I wanted to let everyone know about because basically I was having a really, really shit time over the last 2 months. I always say that I try to give a realistic picture of sailing on the water and sailing around the world, and then also I really hate being seen to portray like a perfect life. So I need to let everyone know when we're having a shit time as well. So we can't go home at the moment. With COVID and the way Australia's set up, they're only letting in 4,000 people, I think. Our rule that we made, which was that we were to go home at least once a year to see everyone, that time has come and gone now. And we've been on the water and away from home for 7 years. So that's like, it's not just like, oh no, that's a bit of a problem. That's like a huge issue for us. Elayna and I are both feeling very homesick. Elayna's obviously pregnant, so that's wonderful news, but also the amount of uncertainty that we've got in our lives at the moment, that's very, very stressful. And then trying to get stuff done overseas, not having a local GP, not being able to go home. And on the uncertainty, COVID just changes everything. So my job is to sort of set our lives up and put ourselves in locations that will make us more happy more often. So I'm thinking about that and constantly updating, getting new information, and I don't know, that's just sort of what I take care of. And every time it's like something changes with COVID, all of this mental effort and energy that I've put into like mapping out our lives for the next 2 years, it all just changes. And I'm like, that's been happening so regularly lately that I really feel like I've just been going round and round in circles. Do I need to say that, of course, there are people out there doing so much worse than us. Like that goes without saying. But this is what's happening with us at the moment. People a while ago were asking, like, had COVID affected us much at all? And I was saying no for a long time, and then all of a sudden it really just caught up on us. Like, imagine Elayna, she doesn't know where she's going to have the baby. It could be one of like 5 different locations, seriously. Elayna with the pregnancy, just in general after having Lenny, and then with this new pregnancy, she's getting seasick, which makes life on board very, very difficult. We like to sail, and mainly the thing that I'm thinking about in the back of my mind is like, is all of this worth it? And that's a really horrible thought. So that's also another big problem. I've been trying to organise a bank loan, and if you can imagine your most frustrating day at some sort of bureaucratic institution, times that by about 1 million, and that's what I've been dealing with this bank loan, trying to calling the international numbers from overseas with sketchy internet. And with all of that going on, when we were sitting in Porto Santo, there was hurricane force winds bearing down on us, really, and terrible weather, and we couldn't leave the boat. We were stuck on the boat with Lenny. Elayna's trying to edit, and it was just a gloomy, horrible few months. It really all just caught up with me, and I was like, you're not yourself, mate. You're not making good decisions like you've always tried to in the past. So yeah, this sail has been unbelievable being out here. I've like I said, I can scarcely recall those problems. I wrote them down, and that's the wonderful thing about sailing. And I can't wait to get there and catch up with Elayna and Lenny.
Little squall came through, got the jib out to fell the Code D. Code D got Hourglass, Code D back out. Then squall passed, Hourglass, Code D on the way back out a little bit as well, but now we're good. Fuck! Damn. How much sail tape have you got? You're like, oh no, ripped. And I was expecting to see the clue, and then came out and the whole aft it's just like a
heaving down.
just like a fucking believe it. I've never seen a spinnaker do that. But I've never crossed the Atlantic Ocean without losing a spinnaker. So it's just a matter of time.
It's, what is it, 3.5 years old?
It's done a few miles.
It's done a fair few miles, yeah. We were all just sitting in here, and then I heard a bang. What did you hear, Andre?
I just saw it ripping.
You saw it, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard what I thought was a wave, and then it just tore like a zipper down the front there. Well, isn't that a bit of a bummer? As you guys know, my plan had been to stay in the light winds in the northern part of the crossing area and to keep our speed up with the spinnaker. Oh well. One of the major things about the Atlantic crossing are these squalls. And every day we look out, we keep an eye on the sky, we judge the trajectory of the squalls as they come. And then when they do come over the top of us, the intensity, and I make notes, and you get a feel for them, how fast they're moving and how much extra force they bring. This one here is a good one. It came like directly in front of us. So I was like having a look at it, and I was like, this is fantastic because we'll get an extra 5 or 6 knots of wind and we're just going to go faster. The sea state builds up a little bit, but apart from that, it's all fine. So yeah, the squalls add a layer of difficulty and excitement to the trip. They're good. It's good watching them roll across. So here's one in front of us here. I don't know if you can see it very well. I think that's all I had to say about the squalls.
The wind blows on the other side of our street. I can hear it, I can see it, but I cannot feel it. The wind blows on the other side of our street, but on the odd-numbered side, not a single leaf rustling.
What are we doing this for, Jack?
Well, we have to keep track of our body temperature every day for Antigua to allow us in without any quarantine. So I'm actually a little bit cold. I might go get some sun. 36.8.
I thought about Elayna and Lenny a lot on this crossing. Elayna and I had been keeping in touch through the satellite phone. It did make me really happy knowing that her and Lenny were having a very good time over there in the snow.
We've nearly finished the snowman and a dog has just come over and found something dead in the hill and is mauling at a who knows what. Lenny, don't go near it. Ugh. Stay here, Baba.
Side of our street, there is beauty in the unexplained. The wind blows on the other side of our street. No need to look for answers, just admire the day.
So we put the code 0 up because we broke the code D, and we're going to use that as a downwind sail. I don't know how it'll go because we're trying to go really far downwind, which means that that sail might be blanketed by the main, but we'll see how we go.
Interlinked dignity. This is sailing vessel Le Vagabond. Over. Interlinked dignity is actually not that easy to say.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Just checking in. You're the first vessel we've seen on our crossing, and seeing if there's anything to report back your way, over. I bet he's quickly gone, did anybody see that boat? Did anybody see them? Where did they come from?
Yes, sir. Copy that.
What did he say? Yes, sir, have a good day. We just woke him up, I think.
What's this, Riley? This is the paddle wheel. I just took it off so I could have a look at the ocean underneath. So my foot, if I take my heel off, that's the ocean. Ready?
See?
1, 2, 3. It's sinking. Oh my God.
We're just sinking a little bit.
We just sunk a little bit. What are we doing, Andre?
We're going to take a reef.
Night time.
Safe rest.
We had an alarm saying boat speed missing, and then the autopilot went off. You were up the front, and I wouldn't say you nearly got knocked overboard, but you got,
I was strapped in, but
yeah, you were clipped off, but you got belted by the head sail, twice.
yeah.
Then we were flat out trying to take a reef, and during that time Jack was on the helm. Then I've come back here to assess what happened, and there's 2 missing bits of like information, so I don't know. And then yeah, there was a draw on this system of 100 amps, which is why I thought there was a power surge, and it said boat speed missing. Strange. By day 9, we were well and truly in the groove out here, or at least I thought we were. I do remember talking to Sven Irvin, who said that he didn't get into the groove until about the 3-month mark of his solo trips. I wonder what the trip would have looked like so far had I gone solo like I'd originally planned. Having crew on board has felt pretty much like a holiday. I'd do my shift for 3 hours and I could actually go down below and relax for like the next 6 hours. This has never happened to me before in my entire career sailing offshore. I've always had one eye open, and it does get to be quite a bit to deal with.